Hi everybody, it's Hoyt. I'm going to share a dream I had 2 days ago and last night. So, both of these dreams had to do with World War III and concentration camps. Basically, it's like really real. So, I'm just going to get into the first dream from 2 days ago. So, my first dream, I was in a concentration camp, and this dream took place in America. And I was out in this yard of like a prison, or what I thought was a prison. It was actually a concentration camp. And I was shackled up to like five other Americans, and I was working, and it was very hot in the dream. And there's these two guards to this place, and they were Russian. They were speaking Russian to us Americans, and they were telling us what to do. And these guys were wearing blue uniforms, and they had pistols and batons and dogs. Like, I don't know if they were German shepherds or another type of dog, but they were like brown and black dogs. And basically I was just working in the dream, and that was that. But this other dream that I had last night was like even crazier. So last night I had a dream that I was watching a battle that's going to take place in World War III, and it was in America. America was invaded, and the Russians were fighting American soldiers, and I got to see like a heads up display of an AC 130. An AC 130, it's a plane, but it has humongous guns on it. And I was seeing the screen that they aim with, that this US soldiers aim with out of this plane. And I was looking at hundreds of Russian tanks, jets, and helicopters, and I was watching these vehicles get blown up by this AC 130, and there was like soldiers on fire running from their tanks, and helicopters being down. And it was really crazy. It was really real. In the dream, I remember one detail. There was red stars on a lot of the vehicles. A lot of the helicopters and jets had red stars on them. So I was like, huh, it's Russian. And the vehicles, the tanks, like the infantry fighting vehicles, were BMPs, and they were dark green. And I was like, okay, that's Russian. But basically, I saw a battle, a bunch of American soldiers and tanks, and I think U.S. Marines too. It was a mix. We're fighting Russian troops, and I got to see an AC 130 shoot like all these soldiers, and it was like ridiculous. Like, stuff was getting obliterated. These guys were getting smoked. There was like, those dudes down there were standing no chance. But I remember Mi-17 helicopter got down, and it just was obliterated by like the 30 millimeter gun from this plane, and there was nothing left. But that's what I saw. I saw a battle in this dream. It was crazy. It was very detailed. But the next scene of the dream was also a concentration camp, and I was in like the cafeteria of what looked like just a regular prison, but it wasn't a prison. It was a concentration camp. And I was doing pull-ups by these tables in this cafeteria. There was like this bar up on this wall, and I was doing pull-ups, and I also did dips in the dream. I think there was multiple bars like these, like that thick of, like that thick of bars, and I was working out basically, and I was taking turns with other dudes. And I remember in like this area of this prison or whatever, there's a bunch of girls there too. And I was like, you can't do that. You can't have dudes and girls in the same part of the prison. I was like, just it doesn't seem right to me. I don't know if the Russians didn't care, but in this place were Russian guards. And this next scene of the dream, I jumped down from the pull-up bar, and I was being watched by like all these girls and these other dudes, and we are taking turns working out. And I held my arms out like this in the dream, and I was looking at my arms and my whole body. I had my shirt off, and I was wearing shorts, and I had I was all tatted up in the dream. I had tattoos and I was jacked. Like I was huge. And I felt really good. And I was very strong in the dream. I could do a lot of pull-ups, more than I could do now. And I was like, wow. And I don't know how much these guards were feeding us, but I was really strong. And there were some other strong dudes in here too. But I don't know if we had any weapons. We didn't have like knives or guns to just fight back and get out of this place, but we were basically locked in here. But the next scene in the dream, we were sitting at these tables in the cafeteria, and like 30 or 40 feet away from the tables, up against the wall were cots, like pinned up against the wall, sort of like in a bunk bed configuration. And the cots were dark gray cots, and they had no pillows or blankets on them. So this detail matters, for what's going to happen in a second. So in this dream, I was like looking this way, and these two double doors open, and a bunch of Russian guards walked through, and they had like attack dogs basically, and batons, and they also had pistols. And they blew a whistle when they walked in. They looked at us and they were cussing at us. And this is exactly what one of the guards said. It was a lady, and she yelled super loud at us, and she pointed, and she said, "Get the F back to your beds." And she said in English, but she was a Russian lady. She had a very thick accent, and it was scary. These people were scary. And basically we got out of the seats of the cafeteria tables, and we went back to our beds, and the beds were cots. And they were very thin, and there was no pillows or blankets. So all of us were wearing hoodies. Just so, we had that added, some added comfort, because it was very uncomfortable. And basically the guards left, and before they left, they were like mumbling stuff, and they were like looking at us like this. Like they were very serious people. And it was pretty scary, honestly. But before the dream ended, I got up in a cot, and there was this girl, and she rolled into my cot like this. Like she was laying down, and she rolled into my cot. And it was a Hispanic girl with black hair, and she was my age, and she looked at me, and she said, "Hey, what you doing?" And I said, "Oh, nothing." And in the dream, I was very tired. And my eyes were getting heavy like this. And I was about to fall asleep. And then the girl was just like staring at me. She was getting all close to me, and she just smiled. And she was just like, and then the dream ended. And I was like, huh. And that was what I saw. 2 days ago, I had a dream of a concentration camp. I remember the guards were wearing blue. And then last night, I also dreamt of a concentration camp, and the guards were wearing blue. And I saw that big battle in America. America was invaded by the Russians, and we were fighting the Russians. The U.S. military was fighting Russian soldiers in this country. We were attacked, and the people that are going to get captured, which I was one of them in the dream, are going to be sent to concentration camps. And the people in here are very serious. It was very scary, to say the least. I don't really know why the girls and the guys weren't separated in this dream, but it's what I saw. And I was like all tattooed up and jacked in the dream. Just doesn't make sense if if maybe I was fed good, but that's what I saw in my dream. It was very vivid, and I wanted to share this so people can just get an idea of what's going to happen. Every person's dream is just a little puzzle piece, and all these dreams that God has given people are puzzle pieces that are being put together. One person could have a dream, and then another person could have a dream, and it's creating a bigger picture. And I've had a lot of invasion dreams already, and it's looking pretty bad. But yeah, I'm gonna share this dream. Take it or leave it. It's definitely real. But yeah, that was it. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. God bless you guys.